Hello, everybody, and welcome to Funky Cheese Friday. I'm your host, Brian Vanaski, and welcome. Today we have a really fun cheese that we're going to give a shot. I've passed it a number of times in Whole Foods, just basically because of its interesting rind. Today we're going to be looking at it's a slightly difficult word to pronounce unless you speak Italian, but the cheese is Sottocenere al Tartufo, something along those lines. Check it out in the text, and maybe you can correct me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But Sottocenere al Tartufo, fun name, beautiful rind, intriguing cheese to start with. I picked it up from Whole Foods. It's a little bit expensive, so I was only able to get somewhat of a small piece going here. And the reason why it's so expensive, if you haven't already figured out by Tartufo, is that it's cheese with truffle in it. And part of the name that you might be hearing from the Sottocenere actually means under the ash. And let me hold this up here. All right, under the ash. So you might be able to see a beautiful gray flaky ash rind on this cheese. And we'll get into describing that in just a second, but this cheese comes from the Veneto area of Italy. Semi-soft, pasteurized cow's milk, typically aged around 3 months in a cave. Not a whole lot behind this cheese that I was able to find. I might be able to do a little bit more research and plot a little bit more information, but what I do have is that this cheese has a little bit of truffle. You might be able to catch that little sliver. It's got slivers of truffle. Unfortunately, I've never had a truffle before. I'm not a big mushroom fan. Part of the reason why I picked out this cheese, because Funky Cheese Friday is all about expanding your palate and trying something brand new. I don't like mushrooms, so I'm going to give a truffle cheese a try. So this cheese, while it's being prepared in the caves, is rubbed with vegetable ash and a number of other spices that actually get infused with the cheese over its 3-month curing process. Some of those spices include nutmeg, coriander, licorice, cloves, and fennel. So I expect this cheese to have a spicy taste with what I imagine truffles taste like. So I think it's going to be actually really interesting. As a texture, it's got semi-soft. Actually picks up your fingerprints when you touch. So I imagine this cheese out for a long time is going to get sort of soft. And it's actually got sort of like a glossy, almost shiny texture to it, catching the light pretty well. So it's got like this plasticky look, but it's also very soft. I'm also really intrigued by the vegetable ash. When you mold and play around with the rind, flakes of this ash that have been rubbed on the outer edge of the cheese or the rind is really beautiful. I've never seen a cheese quite like this with this, rough, flaky, really dry rind. It's sort of soft, not too hard, falls apart. It's sort of dusty as well. Kind of falls off in interesting layers, and just a little hint of mold and some fun specks of truffle. So overall, it's got a really fascinating and unique look, feel, texture. Let's go ahead and give this cheese a big old sniff. And I've got all kinds of ash on this. The ash rind is edible. Maybe if I'm brave, I'll take a big old bite of the rind for you guys and see how that tastes. Let's go ahead and give this cheese a smell. Also important to note, make sure that your hands don't have any fragrance on them before you're smelling. You want to have clean hands of scent so it doesn't taint what you're smelling when you are giving this cheese a good old sniff. It's got a really pleasant smell. I actually smell some sweet. I need to do a little bit of research where the cows are raised and find out what their terroir is and what type of grasses and things that they're eating, because that has a big impact on what you're smelling and tasting in the cheese. It has a sweet smell, and I know it sounds stupid, but I smell mushroom. And the reason why I say it's stupid, I've never had a truffle before, but it has that mushroomy kind of fungus smell, but super super sweet, like a candy, not like licorice, like is part of the ingredient in the ash, but a sweet, buttery. I know it's going to be a creamy taste. You can tell it's creamy by the texture. It's got that creamy, buttery mushroom, beautiful smell to it. So it smells fantastic. If it tastes anything like this, I might have to become a fan of mushrooms as well. So let's go ahead and give this a shot. Take a nice big piece with a hunk of truffle in it. That is delicious. It's creamy, soft, silky, silky smooth, melting on the tongue. Your mouth heats up the cheese. It blankets your palate with a subtle sweetness. If a cheese was too sweet, it might come across as a little bit weird because it's, cheese are a little bit funky. But it's got a gentle, soft sweetness, a milky creamy taste. I've had mushrooms before. It's got a slight mushroomy taste. So even for me, someone who's not a fan of mushrooms, it's like if you had a cheese pizza that was covered in mushrooms, you didn't like the mushrooms, so you pick off all the mushrooms, you still eat the cheese pizza, you got a little bit of that mushroom flavor still left on the cheese, but it still tastes great. You get a little whisper of it, but it's not overpowering. That's what's happening with this cheese. Really soft, silky, creamy, smooth, pleasantly sweet, with a hint of mushroom. Really, really fun. I love the texture and the taste. Really fun cheese. I'm really surprised. I wasn't expecting this cheese to be very good, just because I don't like mushrooms, and the vegetable ash seemed a little interesting on the outside. I didn't know how it would taste. So I want to try something brand new, and it's actually really, really good. And just thinking about the ingredients again, I'm going to see if I take a little piece here closer to the rind. If there was a nutmeg and coriander infusion, it might be a little bit more notable closer to the rind. So let's see if we get any more of those spices here at the rind. It doesn't taste as sweet towards the rind. Maybe a little bit more of the spice that you might get from the coriander and nutmeg and cloves. But it's not real strong. All those spices rubbed in aren't real strong. I think they're just going to give it little flavor hints. Let's be brave. Let's go ahead and pull another little piece, and let's take a nice big bite of the vegetable ash and see. It said it was edible, so let's give it a shot. It's chewy, sort of breaks down in your mouth like eating old leaves. Adds a little bit more rustic flavor in there. Take it or leave it. It's sort of fun as a dare. Eat some vegetable ash. But that's it for this cheese. I give it a 5 stars. I give lots of cheese 5 stars. I love cheese. I'm in the process of developing a Funky Cheese Friday website just devoted for cheese, where I'm going to be moving over to more of a wine rating from a 100-point scale, where maybe I can let some of these cheeses start to break themselves apart from other cheeses by giving something a 92 versus a 98 versus an 87. Some cheeses, it's hard to say, well, this is a 4-star cheese and this is a 5-star cheese or 3-star cheese. It's hard to break them up in such small increments because cheeses have so many different things to offer. So you'll be seeing that rating system coming soon and a brand new site coming soon, which will be a lot of fun and put a lot more focus to cheese. Go out and seek this cheese out, even if you can't say it like I can. Sottocenere al Tartufo. It's a fun cheese, super fantastic. I hope you enjoyed this Funky Cheese Friday. If you'd like me to review a cheese, go to brianvanaski.com/funkycheesefriday. Click Request a Cheese, and I will be doing some cheese requests. I've got a couple backed up. I'll be looking to do those over the next few months. Also, if you have any questions, hit me up with a cheese question. I'll do my best to answer it for you. Hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye.